Hello, beautiful souls. I am Sydalexandria, and today we are going to be talking about something pretty unique. The only other person that I have heard talk about it is Bridget Nielsen, so check the description for her video on this. And I also have a video that I did 2 weeks ago on a subject very closely related to this, and that video was a rebirthing exercise and kind of a story of this weird thing I felt the need to do, so I did. And then after, I discovered it's a thing that hippie people do to rebirth themselves. But this video is kind of the prevention for having to do that, because if you feel the need to rebirth yourself, either consciously, subconsciously, or unconsciously, there was some trauma surrounding that birth. So this video we're going to be talking about how mothers' emotions, pregnant mothers' emotions throughout the pregnancy and of course during the birthing experience, that emotion that she feels carries on to her child that she's giving birth to. So this video is going to be pretty short, but the concept is super big, super major, super important. Let's get into it. During the first trimester of pregnancy, all these emotions that you are feeling, okay, all of that emotional energy is kind of how your child years down the line is going to start projects off, okay? Because pregnancy is kind of like how you create things. You're creating life. Pregnancy is the creation of life, okay? It's the forming of life. It's like this project that you're doing. You're creating something and you are seeing something through the first trimester, second trimester, third trimester, and then when this beautiful life comes to fruition, that is the completion of that part of the creation, okay? Because of course, you're always gonna be creating and raising a human after that, but we're talking about this pregnancy and emotions during pregnancy, because emotions after you give birth and you know how you talk to your child and all that gets talked about, but how you are when you're pregnant doesn't really get talked about enough. The emotional side of it, in my opinion. You know, you hear, oh, don't eat this, don't do that, but we don't talk about feel these emotions and try not to feel these emotions. You want to feel good, positive emotions when you're pregnant, obviously, but this should be the number one thing that your doctor and everyone talks about, okay? Yeah, eat good. Yeah, don't, go skydiving while pregnant, but also don't be around toxic people. Don't be in a toxic, traumatic environment when you're pregnant. Be in a loving, safe, stable environment when you're pregnant, because this is going to carry on to your child, okay? So this creation of a child, pregnancy, directly corresponds to how your child or children, if you're having multiples, or if you have multiple children, that's how they are going to create things. So when they are 20, 30 years old, they're working in a given field and they have this project that they're working on. The first part of that project directly corresponds to how you felt during the first trimester of your pregnancy. The second trimester of this project your grown child is working on is going to directly correspond to the emotions you felt during the second trimester of your pregnancy, and that last third trimester of how your child, once they're grown, works on a project directly corresponds to the third trimester of your pregnancy and the emotions you felt during that time. Same thing with the completion of projects when your kid is older and your birthing experience. And then also your birthing experience directly corresponds to whether or not your child may feel the need to do this rebirthing exercise, which I talked about 2 videos ago. So I hope that made sense. And if you guys have any questions about this topic, leave them down below in the comments. But I just thought this was so important to say. If something major happened, if you were extremely active during the first trimester, like a lot of people, and then you kind of slow down during the second and third trimester. Your child, when they're creating a project, they're going to be like, oh, I'm so passionate about this, let's go, I have all this energy. And then after that kind of first trimester of this project, if you can think of this project they're working on in trimesters, after that they kind of get lazier. Or if you dealt with something in your pregnancy where you were like, oh my gosh, do I stay or do I go? Do I do this? Do I not? You know, your child may be very indecisive during, the second, third trimester of creating a project. Whenever that happened, they might have issues with, do I go this way with this project or this way, after they had already been working on it for a while, if that's how you felt in your pregnancy. Or if in the beginning of your pregnancy you didn't know whether or not, what one of your options you were going to pick, if you were going to keep this baby or not. Your child might have commitment issues and might be like, do I start this project? Do I not? It directly corresponds, these emotions you felt in pregnancy and how grown people create things, okay? Because these babies we're having, these kids we're raising, they are people, they are going to be adults in this hectic but beautiful world. So just keep that in mind and don't let it stress you out, because every person is beautiful and you are not going to totally damage your kid, okay? No person is a failure, all right? So remember that. Peace out.